Kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hello, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Double K, and I am here with you yet again for this week's edition of Double K's Classroom. This week is kind of a off week because I know I advertised that we were going to be talking hockey and NCAA March Madness with Marty this week, and unfortunately that just didn't work out to where we could sync up our schedule, so we'll be doing that episode at a later date. And this week, instead, I am doing the NFL draft. That's right. I'm just going to review kind of the top 10 teams that are picking in the draft and what their needs are and who I personally think that they're going to pick, as well as who Mel Kiper has them picking. So let's start out with pick numero uno. Pick numero uno, of course, we know belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars finished 1-15 last year, partially due to bad quarterback play, partially due to just them just not having a good team. They almost lost all 16 games, but they went out, they fired the head coach, Doug Marrone. They fired pretty much anybody else that was associated with him and brought in college coaching legend Urban Meyer to take over the reins. So Meyer is one that's known for needing at least a decent quarterback. You know, he did almost win a national championship with Tim Tebow. So, you know, he can do wonders with just about anybody. But this is going to be a huge thing to see if Urban Meyer's coaching schemes really transfer over, offensive coaching schemes really transfer over to the NFL. We'll see. But it looks as if their major needs right now with the Jaguars are QB, O-tackle, let's see. It's QB, O-tackle, wide receiver, safety, and running back. So they have needs all over the place. They did pick up some people in free agency. Not a lot, though. But they did pick up a couple of guys. Let's see who they picked up. Shaquille Griffin from Seattle, Marvin Jones Jr., the wide receiver. So they did. Philip Dorsett. Man, yeah. So they went out to surround. They lost Cole, but they went out to surround this kid, whoever they drafted number one, with some serious talent. Their secondary needs go as follows: cornerback, tight end, inside defensive lineman, edge. Ancillary needs are wide receiver and outside linebacker, and then last need or interior offensive line, and then last needs they don't need linebackers. This is according to the draftnetwork.com and their team needs section. I personally think with this first pick, it's going to be quarterback all the way, and of course that quarterback is going to be, drum roll please, Trevor Lawrence. That's right. Of course, as always, everybody, including the one and only Mr. Mel Kiper, sees Trevor Lawrence going at number one to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's take a look at what Kiper's review is. Or not Kiper, Todd McShay. My bad. Sorry, Todd. Or Mr. McShay, sorry. Lawrence, what's I going to say? Lawrence is easily the best QB prospect that he's seen in nearly a decade, and Jaguars obviously want a game changer under center as the Urban Meyer era begins. But they can surround the Clemson QB with talent. But can they surround Jacksonville signed Marvin Jones Jr. in free agency to pair with James Robinson, DJ Chark, and Laviska Shenault Jr. in what should be a much improved offense? Remember, the Jags have 10 picks, including 3 more over the first 2 rounds. So they could, add some more to that. Let's move on to who's the guys that are picking at number 2, and that would be the New York Jets. The Jets finished last season at 2-14, having only beaten, the Rams and the Browns late in the season to get their 2 victories. They fired head coach Adam Gase, hired 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh to start the thing. They made some decent signings in free agency. Their big move was just a couple of weeks ago when they traded Sam Darnold away and didn't even get a future or a current first-round pick for him. That's what blew my mind. It was like, what? But they moved on from Sam Darnold, which pretty much guarantees that they're going to be taking a quarterback with this year's or they traded to the Carolina Panthers. Let's see. That means that they're pretty much going to be leaning on whoever they draft in the first round. But free agency wise, they went and picked up Tevin Coleman. They went and picked up Brown, not AJ Brown, but the other guy from from Tennessee. I'm trying to think of his name. Trying to look it up real quick. Not Crowder. Corey Davis. Sorry, yes, Corey Davis. They picked up Corey Davis to add, and according to Todd McShay, and I agree with him on this one, they go at number 2 with BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. Mr. Wilson, welcome to New York. Let's hope that Todd has more success. He took Mike McDaniel with him to be his offensive coordinator, so he's giving him a shiny new toy to play with. Tevin Coleman's used to running in the offense. I believe they still might have Frank Gore. So it's looking to shape up. Let's see what McShay has to say about it. Well, the Sam Darnold trade sure makes this a lot clearer. Wilson fits so well with the modern-day NFL, showing the ability to make plays on the run, the arm strength to drive the ball vertically, and the instincts to tuck and run for big gains when necessary. But similar to the Jets now have to get Wilson support. They brought in Corey Davis, Keenan Cole Sr., and Tevin Coleman over the past few weeks, and have 9 total picks to work with. All right. So for those of you who weren't paying attention, the number 3 pick in the top part of the draft goes to the one and only San Francisco 49ers via trade with the Miami Dolphins, in which they gave up their first round pick next year and the year after that. They say the 49ers have one primary need right now, and that's at quarterback, because they brought back their backup quarterback, really, because they brought back most of their team from last year, who went 6-10. This squad Jimmy got hurt, and it was just wow. It was just they were like middle of the pack in passing yards, middle of the pack in rushing yards. They were bottom of the league in points or top middle of the pack in points allowed. They have about 9 or 10 picks in this year's draft, including now the number 3 pick. And with that pick, Mr. McShay has them taking Mac Jones. Out of Alabama, which I see as a good fit because he does fit Shanahan's mold of what he likes in a quarterback, kind of like that Matt Ryan at his peak, but could be Mitch Trubisky at his worst. Mac Jones. I'm going to tell you who I would like to see them draft as opposed to who McShay sees them drafting. I would like to see them draft Justin Fields at OSU. I drafted him on my Madden. He turned out to be a damn good quarterback. So I'm thinking like that could work because I think he's another one of those guys like McShay says about Zach Wilson, that he knows when to run. He knows he can read the field well. He can make decent throws. So Justin Fields is who I have them taking. Let's see what McShay has to say about Mac Jones. The Niners sacrificed first-rounders over the next 2 years and then some to skip the line. Which player did they do it for? Coach Kyle Shanahan surely has his guy in mind already, and it's going to be a QB. Teams don't make these types of massive deals for non-QBs. I'm hearing a lot of noise about Jones being the 49ers' preference. He is accurate and reads the field so well, which helps assuage mobility concerns. Plus, he excels when passing in the pocket or off play action, 2 staples of Shanahan's office. San Francisco paid a hefty price, but quarterback was in need of an upgrade. Now it just has to hope it selects the right one. We'll see, San Fran. We'll see. All right, so next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who some are saying that Atlanta could move out of this position for somebody that's a little bit more hungry. They finished at 4-12 last year, bottom of their division in the South. Of course, you're not picking this high if you didn't finish bottom of your division. But I don't know. They lost Alex Mack because he came over to San Francisco. They lost several other people like Mike Davis. So, let's see, Deion Jones signed with them on the defensive end. They brought back Young Hoku. So, I can see them doing some big things. You know, they lost Neal. They lost Mack to the 49ers. They restructure Matt Ryan's contract to get themselves more cap room. Look, I don't know if I see them even picking at this spot, yet alone doing anything impactful. But let's see what their needs are. They need a backup QB, tight end, edge rusher, and offensive tackle. Secondaries include linebacker and cornerback, ancillary, interior defensive line, and they have no area where they don't need anybody. So, I think they could address their offensive tackle. They could take the best offense, considering it's almost a guarantee the first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. Why not go tackle and get somebody there? But we will have to see. McShay has them taking Kyle Pitts, tight end for Florida. He says, man, this was a tough one. This one was tough. Do the Falcons take advantage of the opportunity to take their QB of the future while they have a high pick, or do they turn their attention to the elite offensive playmakers available? Trey Lance could be the pick with the chance to learn behind Matt Ryan, but frankly, Pitts is just too difficult to pass on. He's a unique talent and mismatch, kind of like a George Kittle type tight end. His 6'6" size, speed, and hands would cause fits for defensive coordinators, especially when they already have to account for Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. That's very, very true. So he has them taking Pitts. I'm going to go ahead and agree with McShay's pick there of Pitts because, man, why not take the best available, especially when you got so many holes that you can't really fill them all with one pick. All right, now let's move on to the final pick of this half of the show, which will be pick number 5. which is going to believe to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see. Let's go there. There we go. The Bengals positions in need are wide receiver and O-tackle. I believe they lost A.J. Green, to the Raiders this year. But they do secondary needs are like tight end, interior offensive line, cornerback, and backup quarterback, since they drafted Joe Burrow last year, are ancillary needs, and they have no needs at running back with God damn it, I can't remember the name of their back. But they finished 4-11-1 last season, of course, in the bottom of their division. Joe Burrow was just a rookie coming too. They released Giovanni Bernard, which I didn't get, but they did. They moved on for him. They probably feel they have somebody else that can take his reps and still do good. Let's see. Evidently, they went on a spending spree, according to ESPN. I'm searching. They were Geno Atkins. They let go. They signed offensive tackle Riley Reef. They let go of A.J. Green. Yeah, I don't really see them doing any. Oh, he went to the Cardinals. Sorry. They signed Awize and cornerback Mike Hilton. Carl Lawson, free agent deal to the Jets. They signed Trey Hendrickson. I like what Cincinnati's doing. They're slowly but surely building around Burrows, and I believe Burrows will end up being one of the top quarterbacks this year. But let's see who McShay has them taking at 5. Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. Let's see. Chase is the best wide receiver in the class. He set then SEC records in 2019 with Bengals QB Joe Burrow at center. Well, get him one of his homies. And opt out in 2020. Chase is a physical matchup for any cornerback, as he is incredible at tracking and adjusting to the ball in air. Tight end Kyle Pitts could be the guy if he were available, and no one is claiming that Riley Reef signing closed the door on the draft's top 2 tackles. Oregon's Penei Sewell and Northwestern's Rashawn Slater here either. But Chase is a dominant playmaker who would make an immediate impact outside. Watch for the potential trade back. There are plenty of teams eyeing quarterbacks Trey Lance and Justin Fields. So, yeah, the Bengals could pick up more draft capital and trade back. I could see that going like that. But I just don't think they will. I think they'll stay pit, and I think they will draft a wide receiver. But I think they'll probably draft Devontae Smith, who McShay has going actually to the Dolphins with the next pick. I think they're going to go for the best guy in the draft that they can get, because there's 3 good guys. There's Waddle, there's Devontae Smith, and then there's the guy that McShay has them taking, which is Jamar Chase. Any of those 3 guys will make an impact no matter where they go. So, but with that all being said, that kind of wraps up the top half of the show there. We're only doing picks 1 through 10 here today. The Bengals, I wish them luck just like I do every other team that's going to be picking in this year's draft, because there's a lot of talent, and then there's a lot of things that could be misses in this particular year's draft. So let's see what happens. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. For those of you listening to me on the YouTube, watching me on the YouTube channel, for those of you listening on the thing, we're going to take a podcast promo break. We'll be right back. You are listening to Double K's Classroom right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
Hey guys, this is Venice, and I've got a message from a friend of mine about my favorite podcast.
It's your boy, Flavor Flav in full effect. Check this out, everybody. I want y'all to go check out TJ.
What's good, everybody? TJ Johnson here for Voice from the Underground. I am the most handsome.
Big Hass.
And I'm smoking my cigar, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And Josh.
You pick me up in an Uber and a PT Cruiser, I'm calling Lyft.
Because they be fighting the power, talking about social issues, politics, you know what I'm saying?
And we're not even that good.
Right, we're terrible. Terrible. Tabs us all over the place.
And not only that, but they be keeping it fun with the sports, music, comics, and movies too.
Am I allowed to talk?
I think, no, not right now.
Shut up, colonizer!
You know what I'm saying? He on Twitter at VFU Podcast. So you can find them. So check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy.
Okay, what Flav was trying to say is, check out Voice from the Underground on your favorite podcast network.
Voice from the Underground.
Man brain. You know you want it. You know you need it. Let me introduce you to our team of audio professionals, 100% committed to giving you the greatest extreme comedy podcast of all time.
What's SPH? I'm so super cute.
Send me your orgasmic release videos.
You can get it rootin'. You can get it tootin'. You can get it doing doughies in your yeet. Mi nombre es Tío Yeti. And you just laugh at little Hank. I ain't gonna pretend I is fresh. But looks like you might like that.
And most importantly, I'm Skullfucker. Rah! Go to manbrainpodcast.com to get orally violated. Manbrain out.
All right, what's up, y'all? And I am back. Let me turn that down in your ear there a little bit. Sorry about that. I am back 100%. And so let's get to talking about the next half of this draft, y'all. Picks 6 through 10. Coming in at number 6 due to a trade that they made with the Philadelphia Eagles after trading out of the top 10 to back to number 12 with the 49ers. The Miami Dolphins come in. After finishing 10-6 last year, I believe they even made the playoffs. They ended up with multiple first-round draft picks because they had originally gotten a pick from another team, and last year. So they just made a lot of smart moves, and they ended up with the number 6 and the number 18 pick. I think the number 18 pick is theirs with them finishing 10-6. So they're only going to get better this year. Period. There's nothing really much they can do other than get better. So let's take a look at what their needs are. The Dolphins' needs are wide receiver, edge rusher, running back, tight end. They sort of address some of these needs in free agency. They didn't really have a big free agency. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody talking about they're all in on Tua Tagovailoa, of course. Let's see. It doesn't look like they were too busy in free agency. So, Will Fuller. Okay, so they got him for Tua Tagovailoa there. Will Fuller ended up. It doesn't look like they did too much other than signing Will Fuller. So they're looking to do most of their damage in the draft. Let's take a look at who. Let's see. Let's see who McShay has them taken. The Dolphins, he has them taking Devontae Smith, but I'm going to say that they take Waddle. So McShay has them taking Smith. I have him taking Waddle. Let's see why he wants him to take Smith. Says I have him taking Waddle because Smith is not available at this point because I have the Bengals taking him. Miami trading out of number 3. Picking up additional draft picks, including 2023 first rounder, and still getting one of the players it would have been looking at in its original side. Will Fuller is only on a 1-year deal, and bringing in Smith to join him, or I say Waddle, and Devontae Parker gave Tua Tagovailoa the weapons he needs in the passing game. Smith is an explosive and savvy route runner, and let's not forget that he's one of Tagovailoa's favorite targets in Tuscaloosa. Now, once again, if they can end up with Devontae Smith, that would be a great connection, kind of like with the Bengals and Jamar Chase from LSU. Both of these guys have played with their previous quarterbacks, but I still think that Waddle ends up going here because Waddle was another Bama product as well. But once again, they only take Waddle because Smith is not available because Jamar Chase doesn't go to the Bengals. Okay, so moving on to number 7. The Detroit Lions. Lions finished 5-11 last year. Of course, in the bottom of their division, you don't pick this high unless you finish there. In free agency, they added Quentin Dunbar, defensive back, Corin Elder, the defensive back. Let's see. They traded for Jared Goff. So that was huge. They gave up, I believe, a first-round draft pick. Let's see. They lost Kenny Golladay, though. Perryman joins them. Let's see. They released Chase Daniel. Romero Okawa, edge rusher. Sorry, whose brother plays there. Really, Jamal Williams says he's joining the Lions. He'll be the number 2 back behind DeAndre Smith. They also traded with the Rams for Michael Brockers. Look at that. So it looks like the Lions plan on being a lot younger and a lot thicker next year. So that makes what they do with this draft pick very, very important. The areas of need are wide receiver, corner with the loss of Jones, cornerback, and offensive tackle. I think that they've kind of dealt with cornerback with some of their free agent signings. So I can see them going with Jamar Chase, going wide receiver here. Like I said, I have all three of these wide receivers going 5, 6, and 7, just in a different order. I have Chase going to 7 to the Lions. I have 6. I have Waddle going to Miami, and then I have Devontae Smith going to the Bengals. That's how I think it's going to shake out. But yeah, I have Detroit taking a wide receiver. McShay has them taking Waddle. Let's see why. There is one of the top 4 pass catchers left here, and glaring a void in Detroit's wide receiver room. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones Jr. signed elsewhere. Sorry, Tyrell Williams and Rashad Perriman aren't going to cut it as number 1s in a division that includes Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson II, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen. Waddle is an elusive burner, giving new QB Jared Goff someone to look to early and often each week. That, and like I said, you got that running back combo back there with Jamal Williams as well. I think Detroit's going to be something to watch. They're definitely going to be something to watch. So let's move on to the number 8 pick, which was the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are finished 5-11. They finished second to last in their division, right behind Tampa Bay. They finished in third. They add A.J. Bowie in free agency. Hassan Reddick. They added this offseason. They added Sam Darnold via trade. Now, most likely, they're not going for a quarterback because they have a young guy to work with. Let's see. Is there anybody else they picked up? I would say they managed to upgrade at the QB position. Let's see. And then, all right, yeah, they picked up Phil Snow. Looks like Samuel. Curtis, but they lost Curtis Samuel to the Washington football team. Oh, well, what I'll say. They are definitely looking to get better. So if they look to do that, let's see. I say this is a match pick, I agree 100% with McShay without even reading his reasoning why. Patrick Surtain to the Carolina Panthers would give them another Josh, I forget what his name was. that corner that they had that they let go. Don't make the same mistake with Surtain that you made with him. Said the Panthers' acquisition of Sam Darnold, quarterback, falls off their list of draft needs, especially considering Teddy Bridgewater is still on the roster. The move doesn't eliminate them from the QB conversation here, but it's no longer a big concern. Before the move, I projected Trey Lance in this spot, so our first defensive player finally checks in at number 8. Both of Carolina's projected starting corners, Rashad Melvin and Dante Jackson, could be free agents in 2022. Surtain is instinctive and a natural playmaker. He's a true shutdown corner, which would be key for the Panthers in a division that houses many talented wide receivers. Yeah, 100% agree with you there. Let's see. The Panthers, what were their areas of need? Just offensive tackle and cornerback. And so cornerback will be wiped off that list, and offensive tackle will really be the only one that's left there. Let's take a look at now who is picking number 9, which would be the Denver Broncos. The Broncos' needs are QB, linebacker, and cornerback. I don't know why QB when they just drafted Drew Lock last year, but they finished 5-11 in that division. Let's see what they did during the offseason. Justin Simmons, they repaid him, or they brought him back. Let's see. They're bringing back Kareem Jackson, the safety. They brought back Mike Boone over Phillip Lindsay. They agreed to a deal with Kyle Fuller from the Bears. Lindsay went to the Texans. Let's see, $61 million for Justin Simmons. They exercised their contract option, so they're looking to compete. They re-signed Harris, add Ronald Darby. I think Denver's not necessarily going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs, but I think Denver's going to be a team that's going to be good enough to make some noise in the regular season in the AFC West. Like the Raiders got to watch. The Broncos are going to be a year better, so you got to watch out. You got to watch out. Let's see who McShay has them taken at 9. This one I don't necessarily agree with. I would rather see them take like a Caleb Farley to continue adding to their whatchamacallits. Like I said, there is a need work QB, but I don't necessarily see that with them having on their roster. Drew Lock says if both Lance and Justin Fields are still available, it is difficult to go in a different direction. Though I do think the Broncos could add a defensive playmaker here. Drew Lock hasn't yet started a complete season and was missing his number 1 receiver for essentially the entire 2020 campaign. So the verdict is still out on whether he can be the guy. But while I like his game, I believe he can be a good starter. His production hasn't met the expectations in the division that includes Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert. Lance has a big arm, reads the field well, and is productive as a runner. The 17-game resume at the FCS level means he might require time to learn and develop before he is given the reins, though alternatively, Denver could take the opportunity to trade back with another QB-needy franchise and pick up more draft capital. Very true. Very true. I just don't see – I see them going cornerback or edge rusher right here. But that's just me. Cornerback or edge rusher. I can't give you a specific name yet because I haven't read that deep into it. But cornerback or edge rusher is what I see the Broncos doing. Lastly, we have the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know, man. They finished 5-10 last year, but they had no Dak. Andy Dalton was their quarterback through most of the year. Free agency went okay for them. They brought back Jeremy Spinkle, tight end, brought in Brian Anger, punter. Let's see. I'm not seeing anybody really that new. They lost the safety to the Vikings. Let's see. I'm not seeing really anything that they did. They lost more than they got, but they even gave up Alden Smith. So I don't think they're going to be doing anything major. Let's see what their needs are for this particular year. in a weak NFC East. Cornerback, interior defensive lineman, O-tackle, and edge rusher. I can see them going cornerback. J.C. Horn is a good choice. Caleb Farley would also be a good choice. Jordan Lewis is back in Dallas, but the Cowboys still want to upgrade the cornerback position opposite Trayvon Diggs. Perhaps it's Virginia Tech's Caleb Farley, though his back procedure might cause concern. Instead, I'm tabbing Horn, a speedy and versatile press corner. The Cowboys gave up 34 passing touchdowns last season, so expect them to address that area unless they opt to help protect the $160 million man, Dak Prescott, with one of the class's top tackles. Who knows, McShay? I think that they definitely go cornerback, and I think it's either Horn or it's going to be Farley that gets taken at this point. The Cowboys are in desperate need of people at that position, and stacking up with more of them can't hurt anybody, especially not them. So other than that, y'all, I want to say I appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all continue to tune in. We got Cheap Pop Podcast and West Coast Bias coming on Sunday. And then we have, we got West Coast Bias on Sunday and then Cheap Pop Podcast on Monday because of WrestleMania weekend, which I hope you all are enjoying if you are a wrestling fan. All right, so that has been it for me, Mr. Double K, K-Double, right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. And I hope you enjoyed this edition of Double K's Classroom. I'm out. Peace.